are on page 28 of the day 5/6 lesson dealing with markups and discounts. And I've got two examples here. Example number 1 is a Black Friday deal, and example number 2 is a sales tax example. And here's an example of a problem where you have multiple percents going on at the same time. So we'll go ahead and get started. Let's see. Find the sale price of the bicycle if it's bought after 5 a.m. Okay. So a $300 mountain bike is on sale for 30% off, and then discounted an additional 10% off with shoppers who arrive before 5 a.m. So after 5 a.m., they're just going to get the 30% discount. All right. So a couple different ways we could do this. I'm probably going to hover in the way that most of you will happen to do this. So you'll take the 30, because you'll see the 30%, and you're like, all right, I'm going to do 30% of the price of $300. Okay, so when you cross multiply this, you must get 300. Okay, you'll get $90. Okay, but if you do it this way, you have to remember that this isn't the sale price, that's the discount, and you have to subtract that discount away. So the sale price of the bicycle is $210. Now the other method is, if you think about that tape diagram, if you take 30% off, you're paying 70%. So one way you can do this is to use the 70% and do x over 300. And if you do that, you'll get to 210 right off the bat. So like I said, it's a preference. It's either, you can do it either way. If you do it this way, with the 30%, you have to remember to take it off. Okay, so now we're going to move this on and say, find the sale price of the bicycle if it's bought before 5 a.m. Well, you're going to get the 30% off, and you're going to get an additional 10% off. And that additional 10% off is taken after the 30% off comes off. So we're really going to find 10% of this new price, the sale price. Right? When you cross multiply this, you get 21. But once again, if you do it using the 10%, you have to remember to take that off. So we take 210, and we get $189. Or once again, you could, the other method would be to use the 90%, and you would get $189. So I'll just continue to model both of those, and you kind of preference which one you like better. All right. Now, the question is going to be, would this be the same as taking 40% off the original price? Well, let's try going back to the original price, and let's take 40% off. Or, if you're thinking about it the other way, if you take 40% off, you're paying 60% of the price. Okay, so 30% of the original price, which is the $300. Sorry, I haven't been checking to see if this thing is keeping focused or not. So we do $120. But remember, doing it this way, you got to take that $120 off, and we get $180. Okay, and what you find is that we are not going to get the same thing. Now, depending on the problem, you're going to be in the ballpark. So basically what that means is that an additional means that that 10%, the 30% originally is off of the $300, but that additional 10% is off the new price. So that's one of the hardest things to get with a percent problem, is when you see 2%, you can't just add the 2% together and make it quick that way. All right. Another example is, obviously probably the most realistic example you can have, is when you have sales tax involved. And we have a whole lesson devoted to sales tax. So, I mean, there's going to be the next few lessons, there's going to be a ton of these problems repeating themselves. So hopefully by the end of this, you'll be pros at these discounts, markups, and percents, and sales tax. What is the total price David paid for it? You notice how every time I'm going to the end, I've been doing that quite a bit lately, so just keep that in mind, reading for the gist. David bought a computer that was 20% off the regular price of $1,080. And then we have an 8% sales tax was added. So we've got one where we're taking something off and then we're adding it. We're adding the sales tax to it. Okay, but the sales tax is not based on that amount. So you can't put the 8 together with the 20% off. Okay, that 8% is on the sale price. So first thing we got to do is we got to find the sale price. So 20% off, or keep this in mind, I'm just going to jot this down below. Some of you, that if you're taking 20% off, you might be thinking, I'm paying 80%. Right? So we get $216, but remember, that's got to come off if you use 20%. So we get $864, which is what you would get here if you just did this straight up. All right, now the 8% tax is now on the new amount. So that's get transferred over here. So now we're going to do 8% of 864. For those of you that are thinking the other way, if tax gets added, so if you add 8% to the original amount, you could also set your proportion up using 108%. Like I said, this is either or. But if you do it this way, you have to remember to either add, or in this case over here, subtract. So we take 864 times, and I get $69.12. And you have to remember to add that on. And we get $900, move this over here, $33.12. But watch what happens down here. So I'll even show you on the calculator in case you don't believe me. So if I do 108 times 864, I get 93312 when I divide that by 100. Okay? So you do end up getting the same thing. Right. So as far as completing your task, just check in them to make sure you're going where you're going. You're going to do the problems on page 29, and then you're going to be some skipping around. So you're going to have to pay close attention to what you're looking for. So for recorded lessons, this is Mr. Sims signing off.